welcome to my new Guitar-Nerdery video. In my last video I showed you how you can use the blues scale to create riffs. Today I want to dive into all minor scales of the Ionian system. First I'm gonna tell you a little bit about those minor scales of the Ionian system. Later on I'm gonna demonstrate how you can integrate those special mode sounds into your riff by making small changes of the notes. Just like in my video before, I'm gonna explain everything in the key of E. And therefore we're taking this low E and the E on the A string in the 7th position as the frame. Make sure you have seen the last video to get the idea. In popular music as well as in metal, the mostly used minor mode is the E-aeolian mode, the number 6 in the Ionian system. The notes and the intervals of the E-aeolian scale: the root E, the major second F sharp, the minor third G, the perfect fourth A, the perfect fifth B, the minor sixth C, the minor seventh D, and the octave. This is the sound of the E-aeolian mode, the E-aeolian scale. Let's take this as a reference. Now we're taking our reference scale, our E-aeolian scale, and compare it to the E-dorian, E-phrygian and E-locrian mode. Locrian is actually a half diminished scale, but it has a minor third, so we compare it to. This is the color, the sound of the Dorian scale. I'm going to show you now what the difference is compared to the aeolian scale. The difference lies only in the 6. The aeolian scale has a minor 6, in this case a C. And the Dorian scale has a major 6, the C sharp. This is the sound of the Phrygian scale, very dark sounding. The difference compared to the Aeolian scale lies only in the second. It has right in the beginning a minor second. So the F sharp from E-aeolian goes to F. This is how Locrian sounds, even darker sounding. There are 2 notes different. Like in the Phrygian mode, there's a minor second, an F instead of an F sharp. But we have also a flat 5th, so the B goes to B flat. because there's a flat fifth in the scale means our first chord, our root chord, is a diminished chord. And that's probably why there are not many songs written in Locrian mode. Actually, I do not know one. The Dorian mode has one note different, the sixth. The Phrygian mode has only one note different, it's the second. And the Locrian mode has two different notes. If you want to create a riff that has the character of the special mode, you have to integrate exactly that note that is different. Because if you do not do it, then there's no difference. I'm gonna play a riff in E-aeolian. Conform to the exclusion principle, I put in those important notes that define it as aeolian mode. Let's see what makes this riff aeolian. I'm starting with the seventh and the root. At this point, nothing is defined because the minor seventh and the root, of course, is in all four scales. So we have to look at the following step. The following notes are I have a C here, and the C is the minor 6. That means Dorian is out of the race. But still here, 3 of them scales are in the race. So let's check if the following notes define it. That octave thing here. I'm playing a F sharp and a G. And the F sharp throws the Phrygian and the Locrian mode out of the race because they need a minor second, the F. At this point, aeolian is defined because Dorian and Phrygian and Locrian are not possible anymore. What do we need to do to make this riff Dorian? Dorian was thrown out by the C, by the minor 6. If I transform all C's to C sharp, it must be Dorian then, because that's the only difference. You see, I also changed the last chord, because in the aeolian mode I played a C power chord, and C would be the minor 6, so it's not possible. And I changed the C to an inversion of an A major chord. To transform this riff into Phrygian mode, we have to change the major second F sharp to the minor second F. And there's only one moment where we can do it. Here, I play instead of the F sharp, I play the F. To enhance the Phrygian character, I also changed the last chord. The C power chord goes to F power chord. Wasn't necessary actually, but yeah, it enhances the sound. That way, the important note for the Phrygian mode, the minor second, in this case the F, gets some extra attention. To change this riff into Locrian mode, we can stick to the Phrygian concept, but we have to add to a B flat. The B has to go to the B flat. Let's have a look where we can do this. Only at the last chord, the B flat power chord, I can make the statement that this is Locrian mode, because there are no other Bs that I can flatten to B flat in the riff. Sounds like Annihilator. Just to make clear again, the exclusion principle is the way to define a mode. If you want your riff to sound Dorian, Aeolian, Phrygian, Locrian, whatever, you have to know which are the most important notes that define the mode. And these notes define it by being different from other modes. Now all four riffs after each other for you to compare the sound. This was it for today. I hope you had fun watching it and learned something. And I want to recommend, stay on the ball. Next time I'm gonna compare those major modes. Please like and subscribe, and see you next week.